Hey guys, and welcome to this quote-unquote Manchester United rebuild. Last episode we sold some Deathwood and Varane for an insane amount of money, so we got rid of his wages and we got money for him. We bought in two insane centre backs and one of them was Cristiano Romero from Tottenham. However, in this episode we are going to be taking a look at the January transfer window and can we actually bring someone in who can make our team better. Let me spoil it for you. Yes, we can. We sell on two insane first team players, but we bring in an even bigger first team player for that. We're going to be spending 100 million on that player. Besides bringing in that player, we also bring in 3 or 4 insane wonder kids who are going to be pretty good for us in the future, I do think. So let's go to January. We have arrived at the January transfer window. It's the 3rd of January and this is how we're doing in the Premier League. So we're currently in 3rd, but you can see between 5th and 2nd there's only 5 points separating us, with Liverpool absolutely dominating and leading the way. We've not been doing so bad for ourselves with the team that we've got. I think if Man City win one more game, then they're going to go above us. But other than that, I think we should be able to beat Arsenal and Chelsea for those last Champions League spots. But it's going to be very close and we need to have a good form or else we're not going to make it. Elsewhere in the bottom of the league you see it's also very close. Between 12th and 20th it's only 7 points, so it's not even that bad. Right here you can see some team stats and you see that we're the best in goals scored, the 4th best in goals conceded, and the 39 yellow cards means that we're the worst when it comes to discipline. However, we do have the best average attendance, and that makes it so that our finance, however, we're paying a lot of money on wages. It's still quite okay. We still have 41 million in the bank, which means that we could possibly afford to offer some players bigger contracts or possibly get some other players in. As for the Champions League, this is how we did. It wasn't too bad of a Champions League campaign for us yet, because we did lose against Barcelona and we did tie them at home. However, we did win against Braga and tied Braga, while also winning against Union Berlin and losing. I did play a backup squad here because we were already through to the next round, as you can see right here, if I can get my group in. We were already through. Union Berlin did win that game, but it didn't really matter. We're not doing too great in the Champions League. I'm really not expecting much from us as well in the Champions League. We have been drawn against AC Milan, who do have a better squad than us, I do think. But if we manage to beat AC Milan, we're going to have to play against some really big teams, such as Barcelona, Arsenal, Leipzig, Dortmund, Inter, Barcelona, Real, Paris or Man City. So that's going to be very hard for us. As for the FA Cup, we've also not doing too bad. I think we've won a couple of games. Oh no, we just started against West Ham in the 3rd round, which is alright. For the Carabao Cup, I don't think we did. Oh, we did play 2 games against Sutton and Bristol City, and then we got knocked out by West Ham in the quarterfinals, which is absolutely fine. We did get a red card, and I've been getting a lot of red cards, and I think it has something to do with the way that I play my tactic. Anyway, that didn't really matter. It's only the Carabao Cup, and as you can see right here, the board don't care about it. They do care if we reach the quarterfinals, so we're going to have to do our best in the FA Cup here. As for the Champions League, we've already achieved our goals, and for the English Premier League, of course, we need to qualify for the European Champions League, and we're going to try to do that through the league. Then you might be wondering how we did in the Premier League, and we started out pretty well. And after we lost 4-0 to Newcastle, where we already got a red card after 4 minutes from Anthony, we then managed to win at home against Crystal Palace. However, we did lose again against West Ham, here a loss against Aston Villa, but then for some random reason we also win 8-1 at Bournemouth. Right after that we lose to Chelsea, we lose to Liverpool, and we tie Man City, where we were actually winning a lot of the game, but then Man City came back to a 3-3. And after that, we did pretty well. We have 5 wins on the books right now, so that's very nice. The next games are going to be against Everton and Tottenham, and you'll see how we did, because I'm going to be simming through to the end of January. And then after that Tottenham game, I'll be back to you to see what kind of signings we made and what kind of players may have possibly left. However, before I sim through to the end of the January transfer window, I wanted to show you how our transfer budget is looking. We currently have 41 million in the bank with 500k still to pay on wages, and we can up this like a lot, so we can go to 55 million if we want to, and I think that's enough for us to actually buy another player. Why, you may ask, the way the budget is so high is because I adjusted our expectations from qualifying for the Europa League to qualifying for the Champions League, which meant that we got a little bit extra money, and that money we're going to put to good use to see if we can actually strengthen the squad. And strengthen the squad we really have to do. That is because Jonny Evans is going to be leaving very soon because his contract is expiring and he is 36 years old, so I kind of want to just get him out of the club. Then also Anthony Martial is earning 300k a week, which is just way too much for a player who's only played 6 games this season, and when he's played, he's not been very good. He's just been average. Then also our ball-winning midfielder, Sofian Amrabat, is leaving the club because he's only on loan, so didn't really play him as well a lot, but might as well just get him out of the club. And also Sergio Reguilon is also leaving. Didn't really play him much, 2 games, he's just a loanee. Wouldn't really mind actually already terminating his loan, but an extra backup player is always nice to have. Other than that, we also have the contracts of Wan-Bissaka, Scott Tominey and Diallo, who are expiring, and of course Maguire and Christensen, but I'm not sure if I'm going to be giving them a new contract because Christensen is 31 years old. If he wants to take a lower contract, I might accept, and for Maguire the same thing. Of course he's English born, but if he will just accept a lower contract or lower wage on his contract, I think I might consider getting that guy another contract. So let's go ahead and sim through to the end of January to see what kind of transfers we made and what kind of contracts we have given out. Before I show you what kind of business we did in the January transfer window, I would love to ask if you could leave a like down below and subscribe. It really helps me out a ton and it lets me know that you guys like the series. Anyway, let's jump straight into what kind of business we did in the January transfer window. Here we are at the end of the January transfer window, and first things first, this is how we did. We beat Sheffield United in the league, then we drew against West Ham, which was very unfortunate. We then beat them as well after, and then after that beating Leeds, and now we have been drawn in the FA Cup against Crystal Palace. In between those games we did lose against Everton, which was a shame. That was really a bad game for us, but we did however win against Tottenham, which means we are now in third in the Premier League. It's still very close, but I believe that we can pull it off for those Champions League spots. We just need to make sure that Chelsea and Arsenal are behind us. We don't need to make sure that we can challenge Man City or Liverpool. Just make sure that those 2 clubs stay behind us so we can finish in those Champions League spots. Alright, and then let's start with the transfers out. We have sold Christian Eriksen in this January transfer window. He went to Al Ittihad for 49 million, which is insane. I'm happy they wanted to pay that. Then we also lost Aaron Wan-Bissaka against Arsenal. Kind of a shame that he wanted to leave, but eventually they got a bid in, a very good bid, 52 million for this guy. He was a starter, he's just not one of the best players in the league. So I was happy to just let him go to Arsenal, where he's hopefully getting a lot of playing time. Then some backup players that I actually sold or loaned out, which isn't very special to me. And then let's go on to the transfers in. For the transfers in, we didn't do that much, but let me show you what we did. Of course we sold Eriksen, and then after that we also sold Wan-Bissaka, so it meant we had some money over, and I bought in a big name signing. It's the Georgian winger from Napoli. I'm going to butcher this, but is it like Kvisha Kvaratskhelia? Something like that. Bought him in for 99 million from Napoli, which was an absolute steal, I do think. This guy is absolutely insane. As well as technically, mentally and physically, he's just very well rounded and one of the best players in the game. I'm going to be teaching him to play in the advanced forward role since he's very good there, but of course he's also insane in any of the other forward roles. So very versatile player, 99 million is going to be a steal for a player that can play for my club and be a top player for my club for the next 10 years. So very happy that he is in. Then the next three players are actually wonder kids. Valentin Barco, many of you may know him, a left back Argentinian. Very happy to have him in. I'm going to be retraining him to be a right back as well later in the game once he needs to be more versatile, but he's only 19 years old and already insane. He's very close to starting level. He's almost as good as Diego Dalot, but just insanely well rounded, as you can see. Very, very good and nice player to have in. Then I also bought in Bent Dardai, also loaned him out to Hertha at the same time again. This guy not very special, just hoping that he could come into my team, into my club and be a backup for us, that he could get those homegrown traits later on. Really looking forward to what he can do, but don't expect too much of this guy. He was very cheap to pick up as well, 1.2 million, so it's just okay to have him in. And then also one signing that we made on deadline day, Claudio Echeverri, and this guy doesn't look that good at first, but I hope he develops into an insane attacking midfielder, and if he doesn't develop, then we can just use him as a backup. This guy, we bought him for 9.7 million, and as you can see, he has decent technical stats with 14 technique and 15 first touch and also 14 dribbling. He's missing a bit of determination, but his personality is balanced, so I think he'll still make it. All of the stats that he needs for an attacking midfielder is 11 and above. So if he can just train up those stats and become a lot better, then I think this guy is going to be a nice little rotation option for us. And that 9 million, I think we're definitely going to make some profit on this guy. Anyway, those were all the signings that we made. We do have a lot more money left, almost 40 million, but I didn't really find anyone good to buy. So I'm just going to keep that in my transfer budget and hopefully I can use it in the next season to buy an absolute insane player for our team. Before we end this episode, there's a few things I still wanted to show you. This is how the team is looking right now. So a little change. Aaron Wan-Bissaka left, so now Malacia is playing as a wingback on the right. I'm retraining him to play there, but he can play there for sure. I think he will be able to. Then Christian Romero and Martinez are still in the defense. Luke Shaw is still our left back. Mason Mount and Casemiro still in the middle of the pitch. And then Jadon Sancho on the right, and Rashford actually moved to the left, where Kvaratskhelia, however you pronounce his name, is now in our advanced forward with Bruno Fernandes as our attacking midfielder. So that's looking very nice. Then in our reserves, nothing really changed. Barco is our reserve wingback, but I'm gonna try to play him as much as I can. Maguire wants to move to a different club, but I think I want to keep him around for another 2 seasons if it's possible, and if we get a bid of about 50 million I might consider selling him on. But I'm not sure if I'm actually going to be taking that, because he's nice to have as one of those players who have the homegrown trait. Then as our reserves midfielder, nothing changed. McTominay and Amrabat are still there. Garnacho is actually our backup inside forward now, with Anthony being our backup advanced midfielder. Anthony Martial still being our backup inside forward. Didn't get any bids for him. He's going to be leaving at the end of the season because I am not going to keep this guy around on 300k a week wages. So just happy whenever he's gone. And then Rasmus Højlund is still our backup advanced forward. Echeverri, our new youngster, is now one of the backups. I'm going to try to play him as much as possible, but he's also being available for Manchester United under 18s, and the same goes for Jace Fitzgerald, is a youngster. I brought him into the first team because I think he could be pretty good. He's a 4.5/5 star potential player, so looking forward to what this guy can do in the first team. And that is how the first team now is looking. Also, one thing that I wanted to mention is that Reguilon left because I ended his loan. I didn't need him anymore. He didn't really play a lot, and I didn't want to keep paying his wages, so I sent him back to Tottenham. And then one last thing that I want to show you is that we actually went down in our wages from the beginning of the season. So at the beginning we were at 5.7 and currently we are at 5.8, which means that we're running a way better squad now when it comes to wages. As you can also see here, our finances are in the zeros, but we are actually doing pretty well. As you can see, we were tumbling down here, and now all of a sudden we're not tumbling as hard. Of course we're tumbling a little bit hard here because we did spend a lot of our transfer money, but at the end of the season we're going to gain a lot of transfer and probably also income from our sponsors. So I think everything should be alright. So that's going to be it for this episode. Do leave a like and subscribe down below if you want to see more. Once again, thank you very much for watching. I can't express how happy I am that a lot of people are watching these series and watching my videos. I've just surpassed the 100 subscriber mark and I'm very happy with everybody who leaves comments and likes on my videos. I love you all. Once again, thanks for watching. Hope to see you in the next one.